Whoops. Yeah, I accidentally pressed the button, and I may actually even be able to raise these animals to 1,000 pounds. I may actually, I may, but if I can, and I'm gonna have to take a look at it, because the whole situation is that, I don't. In all honesty, I really only have grass like this maybe 7 months out of the year. And that means for 5 months out of the year, if I have to raise an 850 pound animal on a straight commodity feed stuff, in Texas here, we actually pay a premium for our grain commodities. Like if I was going to go to the sell barn, or not sell barn, if I was going to go to the grain mill, if I was going to go to the commodity broker, and I was going to buy corn, that corn is actually sold at a premium. I got a lot of wind, and so if I was gonna go and buy corn, I would have to pay a premium for it. And if I have to feed an 850 pound animal on a straight commodity feed stuff, even if I grow my own hay, because I can bale the hay on the lease property. I can bale the hay out there. Even if I baled my own hay, I don't, and I talk about this in terms of a broader, whole situation for the commodity market in my local area, is that, our commodities here in Texas, in terms of grain, our commodity feedstuffs are sold at a premium. They're sold at a premium, and if I have to feed an 850 pound animal on a straight commodity feed stuff, and I talked about this in terms of a bigger idea, that's effectively what a feed yard does. And I don't want to be in the feed yard business, right? I want to be in the grass growing business, right? I don't want to be in the feed yard business. If I got in the feed, and here's the reality of the feed yard business. A lot of these feed yards make like $10 to $25 an animal. Sometimes they even lose money. When they make money, it's usually like $10 to $25 an animal. I'm not going to go out of my way to make $25 an animal. That's a miserable idea. Why would I do that? Right? I mean, why do the feed yards do that? Because they have thousands of animals, right? If you have 10,000 animals and you're making $25 an animal, then I mean, sure, then whatever, that's pretty good, right? I mean, you still made a couple $100,000, whatever, right? I mean, but would I do that? No, I'm not going to go out. And why would I do that? Why? That's a horrible idea. I'm not going to get into the feed yard business. I want to be in the grass growing business. And if I'm in the grass growing business, my grass really only grows like this 7 months out of the year. There are actually 2 or 3 months out of the year where I actually even may need to feed my animals entirely on a total mixed ration. And if I have to feed a 700 pound animal, like a dozen of them, maybe even 2 dozen of them, if I have to feed these 750 pound animals on a commodity feed stuff for their entire diet to a point where they actually condition to a commercial standard, I'm not going to make much money. I may even lose, who knows, right? It's not going to be a lot. Maybe I'd make $25, $50 per animal by doing that, and I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that? Right? And so, but I mean, like right now, if I held on to these animals, even, this grass will probably grow like this for another 2 or 3 months. And I also have another 50 acres of grass just like this, 40 acres of grass just like this. It's like 45 or something. I have another 40 acres of grass just like this, right? I could feed animals to 1,000 pounds on a grass like this, no problem. Supplement them with a little bit of grain when the flowering begins to happen, right? All right, but and in terms of a reality sense, if you take a look at my financials, I would anticipate that the 3 animals, at least 2 of them, one of them, the conditioning is a little low, but his conditioning has actually improved pretty substantially. I would actually say he's probably at about a 4 or 4.5 already. And when he first got here, he was probably about a 3.5. He's probably already at, I would say 4, 4.25. All right, and I really want to get him to a 6. But if I get him to a 6, I mean, he may have to be a 900 pounds. I mean, at a body conditioning score 5, he may weigh 800. And at a body conditioning score 6, he may weigh 860, 880, 900, something like that. And so, that might take me another month to get him. But I mean, I'll have to take a look at it. But I mean, I'll have to take a look at it. I mean, maybe, I'll have to keep an eye on it. But when I liquidate these animals, I'm actually going to be able to buy more animals. I actually anticipate that I will double the size of my business over the next, steadily I will double the size of my business over the next 5 months. And it's actually costing me less money to run my business. Are these conditions going to continue forever? No, they're not, right? Sometimes it gets very hot. Sometimes it gets very cold. Sometimes it just gets dry. Sometimes I just don't have any rain, right? Are these conditions going to last forever? No, they're not going to last forever. Right now, I do have the conditions though, and I am, and in terms of a monetary understanding, if we were just going to talk about money, in terms of just straight cash, how much cash do I bring home? I may be, just this business, in terms of how much cash, it will be about $20,000, maybe a little bit more in 1 month. All right, what am I going to do with the money? I'm going to reinvest it into my business. That's another way to look at it. Money is not an opinion, right? I've already, I show you my checks, right? I show you my checks. The number on the check is not an opinion. All right, but that's another way to look at it. How much money do I make running this farm? I would say I average, and I may very well end up taking the 3 animals to market next week, because I really want to get those two animals off of my field. The two that I've been saying are chasing the small ones around and hitting them. I really want to get them off my field, and if I can get them off my field a little bit sooner, then that make my life a lot easier, because then I can just put the animals back here. I can put all the small animals back here, right, and I can just precondition the animals in the back. And then I can, bring in new animals in the front. And then, and every time I sell, you got to think about it. Every time I sell one, I effectively make enough money to buy more than 2. I'm just going to be completely honest about it. Right now, the average cost of a calf has been about $950 for me. And, every time I sell one, I'm making, $1,800-$1,900. Sometimes even $2,000, right? And so, but and also I'm also going to probably be taking the average weight of my herd over even higher. I will probably take the average weight of my herd even higher. Right now I'm taking the animals to market at about 650. Pretty soon it'll be 700, and then it'll be 750, and I'm looking to get to about 850. Right, I'm looking to get to about 850, and I'm only really going to do that if I continue to grow grass. If the feed values of my grass are somewhat optimal, and I'm accumulating enough biomass, etc., then I will increase the average weight of the market for target market weight. I will increase the average. But if that condition does not exist, I'm not going to go into the feed yard business. All right, why would I be in the feed yard business? It's not going to make me any money. I want to be in the grass growing business, right? I'm looking to be in the grass growing business. The grass growing business is what makes me my money. I make my money when I grow grass. And if you want to think about it, I actually probably make more money on a 10.5 acre field than most farmers do on 500. I probably do. And if you want to take a look at it in terms of a numerical fact, my farm, in terms of just straight cash, it's straight cash, not anything else, just straight cash. I produce about $15,000 to $20,000 a month on this 10.5 acre field. That's how much money I make. It's not an opinion. All right, that's another way to look at it. 15,000 if you want to go very low, 20,000 if you want to go a bit high. Like this month, I will probably end up liquidating 3 more animals. And I've already liquidated 7 or 8 it was 7. I liquidated 7 this month. All right, and the 7 animals, whatever, I got my 13,000 on them. And these 3 animals, when I liquidate them, I'll make my money on them too. I will end the month, and then I didn't liquidate all my animals, right? And so, you got to think about that. And then, but in terms of straight cash, how much money does my business produce? How much money does this business, what you're looking at right now, how much does it produce? About 15 to 20 grand, right? Cash, right? And if we talk about equity, the equity, because I'm not selling all of my animals, right? And I'm only selling, I have very strict, or I have very, things that need to be, met, goals that need to be achieved, objectives that need to be achieved for the animals to go to market, right? And, and when you think, realistically, and if you actually put all my money together, I actually probably make somewhere between 25 and 30,000, but I pay myself whatever I need. Like if I legitimately feel like, oh well, my animals are, I gave them a shot of another shot of a modified live vaccination and they're good to go, and I can bring them out to the preconditioning pen. If I clear out this field, I can just push all the animals to the back and bring in new animals, and I can actually do that. Then I'll just pay myself more money. I will just write myself another check. It's very simple, right? It's not complicated. This is also what I mean by my business makes about $25,000 a month, but I pay myself about 15. That's another way to look at it. If I legitimately feel like I need more money, which is not something that I think about, why, what am I going to do with more money? I have plenty of money. I don't need any more money. Right? I mean, I need new investment opportunities, right? I need to be able to expand my business, improve my medication program, improve my feed program, right? I mean, there are a lot of things for me to think about than needing more money. I don't need any more money. I have a boatload. I don't need any more money. I make a drastic sum. I can pay myself whatever I need, right? I make a massive excess. I don't even know how much money I make. I don't. I pay myself whatever I need. All right, and if I legitimately feel like I need another $7,000 this month, then I can pay myself an extra $7,000. It's very simple, right? I don't think about needing more money. What am I going to do? What am I going to do with more money? What's that going to do? What am I going to sit there and am I going to look at it? It's not going to do anything. And if I legitimately felt like, if I legitimately felt like I actually needed a realistic sum of money, I would go to the bank. I need a loan for a couple $100,000. You can hold whatever. I have a business. It's equitable. It's making a profit. The profit's actually been going up every year, and I produce a substantial net positive return. I produce a substantial amount of net positive every month, and I can leverage my income or leverage my business or whatever it is, and that if I legitimately need a substantial amount of money, and I'm not talking about something like minuscule, about like 20-30 grand. If I need 20-30 grand, I'll just write myself a check for 20-30 grand. It doesn't matter. But if I need like $500,000, if I need like $1 million, then I'll go to the bank. All right, I'm not, if I need an extra $10,000, I'll just write myself a check for $10,000. All right, I'm not gonna $10,000. $10,000 is not gonna do anything. All right, I'll just write myself a check for 10 grand. All right, and this is a very realistic time to look at that. If I legitimately feel like I can precondition more animals, and I can actually reduce and I can actually use this area right here as a preconditioning pen. If I just liquidated my bigger animals, and my bigger animals are in the net positive, I will make money, a substantial amount of money, net positive, when I liquidate these animals. Then I will liquidate the animals, and then I will just and why would I do that? So that I can expand my business. I can actually increase the number of animals that I have on my farm, right? That's why I would do it. Why would I do that? Because then I make more money. Very simple, right? And so yeah, but that's it for me today, YouTube. Have a good one, okay?